listening to him talk, I feel bad for these guys because I believe that sunscreen, rosin, and sweat is totally acceptable. And MLB comes out and just lays the hammer down saying you can't do that. I don't know how they say that. How can you say you can't do that? Like, it's gonna happen. But he says he had to change his grip.
You know
all
why
this
they
stuff.
said
I felt
that.
bad for the guy. I don't know why. Because they're incompetent?
No, because they didn't want to fight with the MLBPA. And by making a new rule or changing a rule, they would have to talk with the MLBPA. The only way for the MLB to act immediately was to say, all right, well, the PA already agreed to the rule on paper, so we're just going to enforce it to the letter of the law, because if they try to do the dilly-dally, then they have to open up a negotiation with the PA, and we know that means nothing's going to get done. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying there is logic to why the MLB was like, the fastest way for us to actually act on something is to just enforce the rule that has already been agreed upon.
Okay.
I said the last time we talked, I thought it was tip of the iceberg, and then all the Glasnow stuff happened. And now we're relating injuries to it. Like, this is messy. So I'm still interested to see what the next steps are. But, yeah, it's I think an overstep by baseball, and I do think in that overstep is everything they do is calculated. It's just not the way you'd calculate it from a baseball fan's perspective.
Someone in the chat said, "Who's worse at press conferences, Cole or Manfred?" Well, it's pretty funny.
That's not funny at all.
Dude,
I was waiting for
There's
a
no
little
humor
for a little audio
there's no humor in
there.
that.
That's pretty. He's been really bad. He's had 2 in a row that have been absolutely horrible.
He's electric.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I answer this, I'm just going to sound like a Yankee fan, but if any other player got asked straight up, have you used spider tact, which no other player has been asked, because only the Yankees beat reporters would actually do that to a starting pitcher.
Balls.
No other pitcher, every single pitcher would have answered that the same way, because if you say yes,
Oh no, there's a lot of them that would say no, Jim. Every pitcher that used spider tack would have a difficult time answering that. But if you don't use spider tack, you can
sure,
just say,
but
no.
any other pitcher that uses it, which is a ton of pitchers, if he says yes, he's instantly fined or suspension. Opens himself up to be the first scapegoat of the entire fucking thing.
But you can
It
just
was a
have a
bad
little bit better
presser.
response.
He shouldn't
than
have
that.
sat down.
bad
It wasn't even a
presser.
game day.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't have sat down. But if any pitcher that they fucking took the steroid guys to Congress for lying, so you cannot say no. You can't say no, but you can't say yes, because then MLB can scapegoat you right away and say, okay, you're fined, you're suspended. This is our first MLB player that has done it. So Bauer's the only one with the balls to be smart enough to say,
whoa. What balls has he done? He has not come and said, I use
I know,
something.
but he's better at dancing around saying yes without saying yes.
Yeah, he's trying to make a mockery of it,
Yeah.
showing, oh, this is sunscreen and rosin. Look how it grips. No one's talking about the tack, Trevor. You know that. Everyone's talking about the spin rate, dude. Like,
Well, he was
I'm getting a little tired
just
of
saying
that.
like
I'm getting a little tired of that.
he was saying that was just sweat and rosin that stuck the ball to his hand.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
If you get it wet, it gets really sticky, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's all you need.
Yeah.
That's the tack you need. He's danced around it as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they took players to Congress for lying. So to ask a guy who everyone knows has used it, he's not going to say no. Look how that went in the last scandal. And if he says yes, then he opens himself up to be the first MLB player publicly scapegoated, suspended, blah, blah, blah. So he just avoided it.
Everything we're saying is
Well,
true. It was a bad press conference. He half-handled it okay for what he said, but it's still a bad press conference.
Like if you thought he was going to say no or you thought he was going to say yes, you just have no idea the repercussions of either of those answers.
Why hasn't Bauer came out and said, yeah, like I used something? I
He
feel like that's
basically
like what he
did in a roundabout way, because they
would
said,
do.
do you think your stats will be good without it? And he said, look at my 2018 numbers, which is a very roundabout way of saying my 2019 and 2020 and 2021 numbers. I have been
I'm
using
good
it.
without it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the baseball implications of it. The Rays lose Glasnow, who, I mean, the Rays have been pitching. I mean, that's why they've been on their hot streak. I don't know.
How bad's his injury? Have they?
So they
UCL?
60-day IL'd him.
Okay.
So I talked to a guy named Chris Rose about this a little bit. He's one of his sons on the Chris Rose rotation. And he said, and this is really smart, he's like, if Tyler Glasnow gets the surgery now, or if he gets the surgery in September, he's out for next season either way. So for the next little bit, they're going to see how it's feeling and if anything changed and if there's anything they can do. If not, then that's it. And, man, like if your stomach doesn't drop a little bit hearing that, because we've obviously become such huge Tyler Glasnow fans, love his ability, but on the Chris Rose rotation, you won't find a, like, brighter yet down-to-earth, just goddamn stud. Like, the fact him and Cole Tucker are friends, like, give me some of your sperm or something. But, man, like, think about that. Think about your profession and think about who Tyler Glasnow is right now. Like, a rising star of the game, like one of the most talented starting pitchers. And if they go through with this surgery, which is most likely the scenario right now, we won't see him on a bump until 2023. It's a sick sport, man. Really is.
Did they take the rosin bags off the mound or something? Like, I don't understand.
What do you mean?
Because they said you can't have sunscreen and rosin. And he said he didn't get to use anything. The ball was very slick. He had to change his grip and stuff. Did they take the rosin off the mound?
No, he could use
They
the
didn't, right?
rosin. He just didn't. He just tried to use not the sunscreen and rosin combo.
It's strange to me because, look.
It was preemptive. He was just trying to get used to it for future without it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone's different, man. But I've gripped the ball with sweat and rosin. There's days I forget to put on sunscreen or forgot to put on sunscreen. Still pretty tacky, dude. Curious
like a cat. Call me Whiskers.
And it sucks though, man, because like you said, Jake, the guy was freaking figuring it out, and that race team is a lot of fun to watch, and they're gonna have to fill some big shoes.
And hey, for the shout outs, I keep giving the Mets for winning with injuries. I mean, now look at the Rays. Tyler Glasnow, Nick Anderson, who's supposed to be an all-world reliever. They've got a full bullpen of injuries. Interested to see how they react to that, though, because he's the anchor. He's the anchor. Like, cool when Rich Hill and Yarborough and Fleming or Waka give you something, but Glasnow, he's the guy they expect the 7 one-earned run from.